Right, y'all would just say the pledge. I pledge
Allegiance
to the
States of America and to the republic which stands under God, indivisible, for all.
I see a big crowd out here on this beautiful Thursday. Before we approve the agenda, will it be all right with council if we add a closed session, pursuant to 143-318.11 to discuss the personnel issue? But, yeah. With that change, would y'all, that motion to approve our agenda?
Mayor Gonzalez, move we approve the agenda with the addition.
Thank you, Jeff. Second. Thanks, Shay. Any more discussion on the agenda? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Public comment, anybody signed up? Okay. Anybody here for public comment other than, nonprofit stuff we're gonna talk about tonight? Hearing none. Okay, move on. Approval of our consent agenda, the minutes from our last regular meeting. Thanks, Shay. Second. Thanks, Sandra. Any discussion on that, on those minutes? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none. All right, moving right along. We got Lou here with us from the airport. We're gonna get a yearly report from him. See how the world's treating us just on the other side of the hill.
Thank you, Mayor, members of Town Council. Appreciate the opportunity to be here tonight. I placed our operational year-end annual report for your perusal at some point in the future. I won't take you long to go through this, but again, in 2023, we had 6 carriers operating at the airport. Those 6 carriers are Allegiant, American, Delta, JetBlue, Sun Country, and United. We had 27 destinations last year. I'm not going to go through all 27 of those. But the 2 that we did add last year in 2023 was Phoenix nonstop on Allegiant and Orlando International versus Orlando Sanford. That actually, we added it, announced it last year. It actually starts in a couple of weeks. We also did Denver. We had Denver on Allegiant, but it was a couple times a week. We added United Denver daily, and that's been doing very well. Our passengers for the year was an all-time record high for the airport at 2.2 million passengers, which was up 22% over the year before. Our seats in the market was 1,373,000, which was up 23%. So you can see we continue to grow. Load factor, or what I call butts in seats, was 82% for that total year of 2023. We're actually down 1%. Obviously, with the more seats we have in the market, it equalizes out, so we were down slightly on that. From an operational standpoint, we had 31,269 airline operations, which was up 16.4%. General aviation and military, we had 49,787, which was down 4.5%. The major decrease in that operation was really military, which was almost down 25% from this year from last year this time. On the construction on the airport, our new terminal continues to progress along with the FAA control tower. We spent about $56.8 million last year in 2023 for those 2 projects. It's a fraction of the $420 million total that we'll be spending on those 2 projects. We opened up the majority of our south shuttle lot, which is just south of the Triangle Stop at Dunkin' Donuts with 500 spaces. The other 100 spaces come online this week, actually. And that was approximately $10 million project. We also updated the master plan, which we had participation from the folks at Mills River and various towns around us. That master plan will be approved and will become public here shortly. From a community perspective, we still try and give back to the community. We had our runway 5K, which generated $25,000 in net proceeds. 10,000 of that went to AV Tech Aviation Fund to help the aviation program there. We also donated $10,000 to the Western North Carolina Pilots Association Foundation, but also advocates for aviation and pilots. The remaining 5,000 went to Big Brothers Big Sisters of Western North Carolina, who is our partner charity organization that we try to do some work. We continue to have music in the airport. Obviously, we had Blue Ridge Honor Flight last year, which we have another one coming up this Saturday. Pause for Passengers, which is our highly acclaimed and lovable dogs in the terminal building, helping people reduce their stress. And then from the organization standpoint, our team members contributed to various charitable organizations, almost $10,000. From an economic impact, the airport still continues to contribute $2.275 billion to our region in Western North Carolina. And we are currently underway with the State Aviation Division to undertake the next economic impact study, which will come out early next year. Financials from an operational revenue standpoint, we earned just over $24 million. Our operating expenses were just almost $13 million, leaving us a net of $12.3 million. And the assets as of the end of the year for the airport was $273,598,000, which is approximately an increase of $37 million in net assets over 2022. Be happy to answer any questions that you all may have this evening.
Questions? Appreciate you being as close to us as you are.
We appreciate being neighbors and we can help in any way we can. Any questions, again, you all know how to get home. And thank you very much. Have a great day.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, next up will be our fire chief, Mr. Ridley.
Thank you, Mayor and council members for having us tonight. Always a pleasure to be with you and update you on the latest as far as what's going on in the fire department. I'd like to thank Jerry Moore, he's chairman of my board of directors. He's listening tonight. I'd like to thank you for being you. Do have a PowerPoint just for the benefit of those in the audience back here. It's exactly what you're looking at. And but before we get into that, I'd like to hit a few highlights. Most of you have heard this before. For those who may not have, just a few important facts and figures before we move on. First, the structure and the organization of the fire department, if you're aware of how that works. But I have 9 members of the board of directors. They oversee the finances of the fire department. And then our situation is very much the same situation that you folks have with your town money. My job to manage the day-to-day operations of the fire department and to carry through with the wishes of my board of directors as relates to finances and anything else like that. But the situation is very similar. Town manager and myself. So the fire department was organized in 1968. We had a small building that was built in 69, an older model septic truck. Since that time, we've had 2 expansions at our former train station on Schoolhouse Road, and we added 3 substations due to growth in our district. Currently, we have 14 apparatus. We have 3 support vehicles, pickup trucks, as well as a fire education trailer, 2 boats, 2 ATVs. We protect 22.81 square miles. That's inside the town of Middle River. We protect 14.78 square miles. That's in Henderson County. It's outside your town limits. Primarily that area west of Pennsylvania Road. And then the upper north and south of the river, it's mainly where that 14.78 square miles comes from. And then 29.7 square miles of the Pisgah National Forest that lies within Henderson County. That's mainly Yellow Gap, Wash Creek, Turkey Pen, and all the Bradley Creek, all the area in between. So that's a total, excuse me, that's a total of 67.29 square miles. That's, in terms of district size, coverage area, that's pretty large, comparatively speaking. Our insurance rating, for our department is class 3. That's for our entire fire district. We will be undergoing a Department of Insurance inspection on June 3rd and 4th, coming up here in a month or so. We do that. We have to go through that every 5 years. So, we're working on that as we speak. We continue to have 4 paid firefighters working during the day, 5 days a week, and 2 paid firefighters working at night and on weekends. And the reason we're able to keep those numbers so small is because we have 60 active volunteers, which is very unusual. Very proud of that. We've been able to maintain that years and years, and call it bragging or whatever, but our volunteers have done a tremendous job with it. As you know, our main station was completed last May. We moved in and began operating from there on June the 3rd of last year. That transition has gone very well. We're starting to feel at home a little bit now. So that went very well. As far as needs within the department go, it actually relates to apparatus, which are over 35 years old. I guess the 2 most imminent needs are the replacement of a tanker. That truck is ordered. Sadly, when you order an apparatus, and it doesn't matter which manufacturer you order an apparatus from, but your delivery time now is 3 years. Some manufacturers more than 3 years, but a minimum of, but a minimum of 3 years. So obviously that throws the kink in our planning. It's kind of hard to project 3 years out and know what's going to happen with your apparatus, but we're just having to plan further out. But anyway, that tanker is ordered. We'll be ordering an engine or a pumper, hopefully sometime this year, in light of that 3-year delivery time. So, like I said, both of those are 35+ years old, which is, we believe in getting everything we can out of an apparatus. We don't replace apparatus every 5 or 10 years just to have new fire trucks. That's never happened anymore. And I don't think it ever will, at least as long as Gary and I are in. But let's see, turnout gear, we've got a lot of turnout gear that's aged out. There are a life of turnout gear is 15 years. It's not optional at that point. You have to replace it, whether it's still good or it isn't. It's not optional, but I was able to, actually Tim Moffett helped me a lot with this, but I was able to get a grant from the state last year for $130,000, which will be used toward at least part of the cost of that turnout. We're not requesting a change to our tax rate. As you know, we actually lowered our tax rate last year, and we were confident that we can do what we need to do and provide the service that we need to provide with our current 10-cent tax rate. I would just say, while it's on my mind, uh, I'm not gonna go through every line item in this. If I did, we'd be here a few hours. I don't want to take up all of the time, but that's the reason I gave you these handouts. Please look those over closely. And if you have any questions, call me, come see me. If you want to get the call, go see Jerry, that's fine too. Or if you want to make with our entire board of directors, that's fine too. We get in with Lee. Any way that anything that we can do to answer questions or explain things, maybe educate you on the whys, all that kind of stuff. Certainly have to do that. So, you're. All right, and again, what's on the screen is the benefit of you, folks in the audience. As I said earlier, our present tax rate's 10 cents. That's where we'd like to stay if no change. The next section is for revenue. And before we move any further, the form which you have in front of you is exactly the same form that Henderson County came up with. This form goes to the Fire and Rescue Advisory Committee as well as county commissioners. So you're looking at exactly the same form, exactly the same figures that Henderson County looks at. It's just a brand new format. I like it better. It's a little bit more explanatory, I guess. Not so much gray area as there was with the previous forms that we used to. But the Henderson County ad valorem taxes there, that's for that area outside the town limits, west of Pennsylvania Road, up and north and south, the county area, not the town area. That's what that is. Donations, you never know when we go on calls. A lot of times folks can give us a check or hand us a $20 bill or something. Yeah, just never know. Fundraising, we do 2 fundraising events per year. One's coming up very soon. May the 11th, I believe, it's Saturday before Mother's Day. We have a flower sale every year. Thanks to Van Wingerden's, they generously supplied flowers for that for many, many years. Like to thank them publicly. And then the other fundraising event is it's actually a letter drive. We used to combine that with a corporate fundraiser, but people, I guess they don't want their pictures made anymore. People took offense for that. But anyway, I do a letter drive, and it gives me an opportunity, or us an opportunity, to explain what's going on in the fire department. And it's been very successful forever. So that's what that's all about. Grants, you never know from one year to the next, but like I said earlier, we did secure a state grant of $130,000. Hazmat charges, if we're dealing with a large hazardous materials incident, we can charge. We don't run into that very often, but that's the reason that's there. Interest income, self-explanatory. Miscellaneous, I will comment on that for a second. Those of you that have connections with Chuck Edwards, maybe you can help me out a little bit with this. But all that area that we cover in the Pisgah National Forest, actually we get nothing help us out with our expenses except that $20,000. The federal government pays, it's called PILT money, payment in lieu of taxes. It goes into the Henderson County General Fund. It's roughly, I don't know what it's up to now, but roughly $100,000. And the sheriff's office, EMS, rescue squad, and Mildred Fire Department draw what little we get comes out of that pot of money. And I met with Chuck recently and I said, you know, it makes sense for us to cover that area. We have no problem covering that area. It's the right thing to do. But you know, if you can just help us kind of meet our expenses a little bit better, that will be very nice. And he said, I'll add it to the list. So that's what that 20,000 is. Jefferson County gives us $20,000 out of that PILT money every year for the forest. That's what they do. Sales tax refund, same self-explanatory. Moving on to page 3, I guess. Expenditures, most all of these are very self-explanatory. Talk about each and every one. Insurance costs, I'm sure it's the same for the town, but that continues to grow every year by leaps and bounds. The next page. These are just supplies, equipment, things that we use on a day-to-day basis. It's spelled out so you can see what's what there. Moving on to the next page, it's no secret that paid personnel, that's what eats up a budget in a big hurry. And as long as we can keep those numbers low, we can keep everyone's tax rate low. So again, that's thanks to our volunteers that kick in and help out so much that allow us to do that, to keep our number of paid staff low. That just showed you dollar for dollar what was spent last year and what we project for this year. And moving on to the next page. I will comment briefly on, this is for the new main station under building maintenance. You can see that the number that was for the amount of actually spent was much higher than what I budgeted for last year. And the reason for that, when we were nearing completion on that station, there were a few things that we found we needed to tweak and take care of at that point in time. It was much cheaper and much easier, much more efficient to do it then than to wait a year or two and undertake that kind of stuff. That's the reason that number is a little bit higher, but it just spells out the expenses for each station. I will say at this time last year, I was very uncertain as to what our power bill, for instance, would be, our natural gas bill, our phone bill, sewer and water. I really had no idea. We were kind of making an educated guess, a shot in the dark. But now that we've been in our new station for 9 months, we have a pretty good feel for what our monthly expenses will be. So those numbers this year are much more firm than they were this time last year. All right, well, I'm moving around. Maybe what?
At our age, it is good cuts away off.
Well, you got it in front of you there anyways, it's no big deal, but, the assets, we have nothing to hide. We're very transparent. Again, We will share anything that you want to see with you. There's no problems there with you folks or the county commissioner or anyone that lives in our fire district. You want to see it, we're welcome to show it to. So ask, come by and visit or call, you know, whatever. The county is very big on us having some, money in reserve contingency, and then in a savings. Most farms do it with a CD or something that's safe along those lines, but they are very big on that. Request that every fire department can do that. That's what that's all about. The next page is just, that's the formula that we use to determine what tax rate we need, you know, to supply our needs, I guess, is the best way to put it. But that spells that out for me. That's all that I have. If you have questions, comments, closing viewpoints, Jerry and I will be happy to try to answer those. Appreciate the good relationship that we have with the town, and as always, we'll continue to work with you folks in any way we can. I think that we do have a good partnership.
Any questions for Rick while he's here? So we appreciate y'all running everybody's call. Taking care of them as quick as you can. You are on board for the sanatorium, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. That's one of our main.
I would say for the benefit of everyone that's here, Military Day is coming up soon. And if you've never been to that, council members or any of you back here, please go to that. And that's huge. I think you'll be very impressed. I will just say that Nicole and Michelle do a fantastic job for y'all organizing that. And Jay, Harry, Candace. So come out and enjoy that. I think you'll be very pleased and very impressed. There aren't too many communities that have what we have. That's a good example. What I'm talking.
We don't have a real town to get the middle and play in, but we play on the edges of it. I like it.
Right.
All right, thank you for being here.
Yes,
You're
sir.
welcome to stay, or you just go enjoy the rest of the evening somewhere else. It don't matter to me.
There's a big baseball game going on at West Tennessee, so I think that's why.
All right. Do it. All right, moving on with our non-profit request, we'll get Shannon Bowen to get us rolling with this.
Sure, thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, brother.
Yes, sir. I'm sorry about that.
I took it, no big deal.
So since 2007, the Missouri Town Council been entertaining requests from local nonprofits for the purpose of promoting partnerships between the town and those organizations we've been building over the communities. Now, I can say at least soliciting applications. That was done this year. It was well advertised. 6 organizations submitted applications for seven different programs. And they were asked to indicate various things on their application to comply with the policy requirements. Basically, the bottom line, and you have this in your packet, the total request for all the organizations is $76,200. One of the organizations came up to me before the meeting and just wanted to clarify they wanted to amend their application. So Jan King is here representing that application. She will speak to you on that. I would say last year, the total amount that was funded is $61,360. So that's about $14,000 less than what you have before you in your packet. And that that number, the 61,360, has been placed in the preliminary budget. That can change. But that number, is there. One option would be if you wanted to stay with that number and prorate the distribution among the applicants, you certainly do that, and that let us know in the budget process, that's what you want. But it's totally up to council's play. So first on the agenda is Merlek, and Ruth Williams is going to present to.
My name is Ruth Williams. I'm here on behalf of the Village of the Light. Also known as Prolac, I think most people in the community. What we do is we offer a weekly program for our senior adults in the community for aging in their homes. And our goal is to promote healthy aging, and we give them a sense of purpose and also to feel the voice of the last year, we had 3,912 attendants. We had 48 programs, and we had an average attendance of 82,000. We have 82 people. That would be awesome. And find a bigger venue. We kept our lunch costs down to an average of $3 per person, which in the day time, I'm very proud of this. And we are coming to you tonight to ask that you would partner with us, doing $12,000 to help us cover food costs, but also because we are using paper plates, plastic cup, and we just doesn't cost. We've stayed healthy. We want to say that really we're going back. And it does help us. I am here to answer any questions you might have. The y'all packet, there's our budget too.
Do y'all serve just one meal at lunch?
We do, we only meet once a week, and we serve one meal, and everything we do, our program, it starts out, we do trivia to exercise the mind, we do chair exercise to exercise the body. We have a devotion, for local pastor to come in to do that, and that exercises our spirit. And then we do a program, whether it's self-education, entertainment, you know, that's kind of where we are on that program. And we serve lunch at noon, there's no charge for anybody.
Think roughly about 3 hours long.
And also, one thing I forgot to put in my report, for the last 2 years, we've been going out and getting local businesses to sponsor the musical entertainment. So that covers the cost of that, plus it gives the business a chance to get their face in the community. And that's been a big success.
Any more questions?
Ms. Williams, are you having, sponsors for all of your events, or you still haven't asked any of them?
The ones that, like, our health education, I can't think of any of those to charge. It's the musical ones, and I have covered through June. I haven't tried past that. We do well.
So it's been successful.
It has been very successful. We didn't have any of my students. That's big bonus for us, and it's not. They can't come and sell anything, we have to see very much, but they can let them know what they do, who they are, and where they are. And they seem to comply.
Anything else?
Thank you for your time.
You too.
Mr. Mayor, this is Smart Start Partnership for Children's People's Day.
Thank you. And today I'm here to talk about two of our programs. We are requesting. The first, as you can see, the lovely Dolly Parton on the screen is the Dolly Parton Imagination Library. Dolly Parton Imagination Library is a program that is catered to children birth through 5. And they deliver free books in the mail to our participants 12 months of the year. So if a child is enrolled at birth, they'll have up to 60 books in their personal library, which is a great personal library at home. And we know that it's challenging raising happy and healthy kids. We take pride in offering these books as more than just a tool for families to build early literacy, but they serve as a source of joy and connection and a love for reading. So we are looking at our budget right here. So books are provided to the family at no cost. However, Smart Start is paying about $30 a child to receive a book in the mail each month is all here. I love I'm pointing that out. Oh, there we go. Thank you. For Mills River, we have 319 children that we are currently serving. That's a 3% increase from last year. We do a lot of outreach at different days like Healthy Kids Day or Mills River Day. The rallies that we'll talk about in a second. So our total yearly investment for Mills River is $9,215, and we are seeking $5,000. This is actually my child. I am a proud Mills River resident, and this is my little girl. As you can see, she's holding a lookout from Garden. She's riding from Garden as well. And that is the last book that you received before. And she got a letter in the mail from Dolly, talking about just how much she loved having her. She personalized it for her, and she just gets so excited about. She's very sad she got me. But she's also very excited that anytime she sees that Dolly Parton Imagination Library sticker anywhere, she gets so excited. And as you can see from other quotes from our families here, they're being impacted as well. So we would love to continue this program. Do you want me to pause since I have 2 programs and ask for any questions now? For Dolly Parton Imagination.
Let's do that.
Perfect.
Any questions for the Dolly Parton for this?
So, once again, I'm the kindergarten transition coordinator, and so this is my little hub of work here that I'm excited to talk about. We're thrilled to announce that the Ready Kindergarten Initiative is now in its 6th year and has expanded its growth tremendously. We are all we have 13 kindergarten transition teams at all of the 13 county schools that have active kindergarten transition teams. But with that being said, 2 of the highest enrollment are Mills River Elementary. So if you can get to the next slide, thank you. So we have 20% of the currently enrolled kiddos in our county that attend either Mills River or Glen Marlowe. They have a lot of kiddos. And so with that, both the Glen Marlowe and the Mills River Kindergarten Transition Team are highly proactive and robust. The teams are made up of early childhood educators, kindergarten teachers, principals, school counselors, instructional coaches, other support staff on the team. They also have dedicated community members that are committed to fostering connections necessary for a seamless transition to kindergarten. And I just want to shout out to Nicole Sweat because she serves on both the Glen Marlowe and the Mills River kindergarten transition team. So I love her partnership. So, thank you. So the kindergarten transition teams operate a unique and intentional space that is not currently available anywhere else. It's a platform for collaboration, data sharing, addressing community needs, and developing kindergarten transition plans. These plans are instrumental in driving the activities, fostering connections, and taking actionable steps to support our youngest learners in the community. As you can see on the screen right now, these are just some examples of the different things that come out of the work that we do on these teams. So we have meetings throughout the year. We share data from preschoolers that are going to sleep and napping on Friday at their early childhood center and waking up on Monday as a kindergartner and children in the front of the schools. We have summer play dates at the park that we've started hosting here at Mills River Park. Kindergarten readiness rallies, which are huge. We have kindergarten readiness bags that we put together for all of the Rising kindergartners. So they get learning materials that they get to take home to their families and work on their skills together. We do a bunch of community events. We have Rising kindergarten readiness camps, preschool tours with partnerships with our early childhood partners. And then we also do a district-wide Q&A that a lot of the staff from Mills River and Glen Harbor on. Thank you. This is just some pictures I threw together that represent a lot of those different activities that we spoke of. So there's kindergarten, there's the kindergarten readiness camps, the rallies, we have district Q&A, so just all this. So an investment by the town of Mills River in an amount of $13,000 will ensure families continue to have access to the resources that they need, especially right now in the current childcare crisis that we are in. It is heavily hitting our county, and that's not just us. We're feeling that everywhere, but I kind of wanted to share this opportunity to share some data specific to Mills River. So in 2022, we had 671 infants, toddlers, and preschoolers that lived in Mills River. Not as we do constantly growing with the families coming in. We only have 35 infants, toddlers, and preschoolers combined that are attending a licensed childcare program in Mills River, which is a 13% decrease of slots available from last year. So we have a really big crisis here, and families that are coming to move here, there's nothing available. There's nothing available, but there's also not very much offered in Mills River as well, as far as early childhood care. So we understand that to access high quality early childhood education, that plays a crucial, huge role in preparing our children for schools. So it's not a job of the 5-year-old to show up to school ready to learn. And so we just extend your gratitude and supporting our efforts to build awareness and preparedness before the first day of kindergarten. So that's the mindset that we're trying to build, is that it's not just the summer before it starts at birth. So if you can hit one more time, thank you. These are just some quotes that I want to share. These are from families that have been directly have gone through the First in Flight or the kindergarten readiness camps, a rally, and there's also one from a participant from our early childhood, teacher from one of our teams. That's early childhood teacher, but it means a lot to them to be active because they're often forgot about it. So, any questions?
Is it on the transition? Is it when the rising kindergartner is enrolled in the upcoming school year? Is that how you reach out to them? Is that how you find out?
Kiddos are.
You
So-
try to reach out to these different events.
Yeah, so one of the things that we've done that has changed in the past couple of years, as far as our kindergarten transition work, is open kindergarten registration much earlier. Buncombe County opens in April, and we find that we feel like that's a missed opportunity to reach out to these families. Because the sooner they know and we know who they are, we can lay eyes on them. We can have that open communication and tell them about like play dates in the park and summer camps and just the other events like the Q&As and stuff like that. There's just these things embedded building up. And so we open it in February 1st, and we had a really great push we worked with the county schools to just really push out registration, registration. And then when these families hear about the rallies as well, we're able to catch families again that aren't yet registered and help them with that process. We also have done an Inscripciones event, which is helping our English speaking, or sorry, Spanish speaking families register for kindergarten. And I participated in that event. We had most of our families there as well. And it was really great. Because we just felt the process. The backpack bill was supplied and it just felt supported because there's a lot of areas. So
Any more questions? Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, the next organization is Council on Aging for Mission County, Emma Wilson.
Hey, hey. Good. Good.
My name is Emma, and I'm the development communication coordinator of the Council on Aging.
Just let me know and I'll click it when you're ready.
Thank you. For 55 years, we've been providing supporting services that connect, engage, and support adults in our community as we age. If you could click more help. And we could move the global work to attain our vision that no one be able to. Our class today is about our flagship program, Meals on Wheels. We've been operating Meals on Wheels since 1996 in this county, since we took that over from the Department of Social Services. Last year, we served over 76,000 meals to 555 homebound individuals in this town. You could go back and show some. 555 homebound residents in this town. I appreciate you. And for anyone who's not familiar with Meals on Wheels, at its core, this is a program that is designed to provide 5 meals to a homebound senior who would otherwise have difficulty either accessing or preparing food for themselves. So this program really goes far beyond just basic nutrition. When our volunteers, when our volunteers are delivering meals, they're also creating a connection and they're building a relationship with people who, as homebound individuals, have a higher potential to experience social isolation. And social isolation, especially in the senior demographics, has high correlation with cognitive and physical decline. And so I think that this is an important piece of this well-known program that is maybe not as well known. And even building on top of that, our volunteers are also helping to assess the general safety of our clients as well. They are looking for the warning signs of changes in mood or behavior, changes in weight or their physical appearance, as well as just looking for general safety hazards either in or around. And when a client either requests or a volunteer has identified a need, then we are able to connect that Meals on Wheels client with a support service staff person so that we can educate them on our available community. And so as a whole, Meals on Wheels has been designed to be a program that's supplying the support that an older adult might need to be able to continue being in place, which is what most adults have stated is like that. Unfortunately, for our specific Meals on Wheels program, due to the increased cost of gas and maintenance cost of food that I'm sure we're all familiar with, as well as the pending end of ARPA funding at the end of this fiscal year, or American Rescue Plan Act funding at the end of this fiscal year, we had to make a difficult decision to be able to operate within our fiscal constraints. And that resulted in, we had to stop the intake of new Meals on Wheels. And this started last fall. And since then, a fairly significant wait list was developed. We currently have approximately 150 homebound seniors in our county who are waiting an average of 8 months for Meals on Wheels service. There are currently 5 Mills River residents who are on that wait list, and that brings us to our proposed partnership. The council on aging is requesting funding, and it would essentially be equivalent to the town of Mills River covering half of the annual service cost for those 5 individuals. And the council on aging is committing to secure the other half of that funding in the next day this year. The annual cost of this here for a Meals on Wheels client is approximately $2,400. And so we split that in half and multiply it by 5 individuals, we're looking at about $6,000. I personally don't think that the impact of this can be overstated. This would potentially be a life-changing event for seniors who receive this service. These individuals are in their 70s and 80s and deserve to age reasonable. They shouldn't have to be worried about what's going to happen to them at this stage in their life. And I believe that they should know that their town and their community is here to support them in the later years of their life. And for me, I also would like to emphasize that, again, this is more than just providing 5 meals a week to seniors. This is connecting these Mills River residents to an entire support network that is specifically designed for them. And we can go to the next slide, please. And just in closing for this, I would like to emphasize that I fully believe that this request aligns with the mission statement of the town, as well as the mission statement of the foundation, because the support that Meals on Wheels provides, it can help to provide that quality of life for the seniors. It can help to provide that opportunity for them to prosper in whatever way that looks like for them at that stage of their life. And I think probably most importantly for me personally, they will know that their town has funded them. It will be the reason that they will receive service within a few weeks instead of the year. Because the council has the organizational capacity as well as the volunteer capacity to serve these individuals right now. The only obstacle that they're facing right now. And so when these individuals learn that they will not have to wait months to receive this, the thing that I think that is most impactful, obviously they will benefit from this service, but it's very important to me that they know that they're not. And so the support of this town and their community is very important.
Question, I just want to say something that I've seen the benefits personally, but it's everything you said.
Make it personally,
Given
family
the,
member.
given the rural nature of our town. Value service, people are remote, most of them in the other towns, so, yeah. Absolutely. So thank you for coming.
Of course, absolutely. We are very proud to currently be serving our Ontario residents. And something that I really love and that I have found in my first year of my position, something that I really found that makes my job a little easier is that I can walk into almost any room like this and someone can speak to the impact of that person into this program. I offer someone a house. People know this and they feel it very personally. And so I'm very glad that we have sent about this particular age group.
Anything else? It's just further.
Thank you very much.
Next organization is Mills River Partnership, and Maria Wise is presenting.
For about 20 years. I've been here about 8 or 9 myself. We work to protect and improve water quality. By reaching the community and students through education events, volunteer-based workshops, investments like this River Day. We've worked with many farmers over the years on erosion control projects and agricultural waste management practices, waterways, fixing our large streams. We've restored over 2 miles of stream bank, which hopefully will help reduce log jams over the years, but right now we still have a big issue with log jams and probably like this little trees that come down. So we've had a big
successful program for a couple of years, for moving water channels and debris from rare streams. And that brings me to the main aspect of the ask tonight, which is, watershed, just due to our structural and funding structure. But we have really identified the need outside of the watershed, still within the Callan Mills River. Now, we did our project, we have flights within the county. But there are those eastern and western ends that are outside the watershed. So, we receive a lot of calls from folks who have water jams and would like houses in that way. So this funding, would allow us to expand our area and help those folks that are in the world to create watershed. And those streams that are outside. So, that is what we want to consider as my opportunity. Any questions?
Could you give us, maybe a couple examples for the ones that are not real familiar with, some form of what y'all actually do once you get on site?
With the lodging.
Yes, yeah, or
Well, so
do you coordinate this, the engineering, or line up people up, or what are we?
we do.
Partnership doing?
That would be, take a look at how bad the lodging is to begin with. So we probably want to see criteria like, is it causing flooding? Is it causing danger, hazard in the river? Or is it causing erosion? A lot of times, the trees down and it causes the riverbank to pour out around that deer pond. So any of those things are, reasons that we really need to get logs out there. And, once you determine it's worth doing, we usually hire a contractor or we can work with landowners themselves to remove, the grade.
The request for 25,000, would that be exclusive to those landowners you talk about, or in Bolson Creek, or Bell Creek watersheds, or is it sort of discretionary in the partnership in your board, whether or not that money would be earmarked for those inside or outside the watershed?
I think the right reason why it's from you all, we think that it should be used strictly for the outside the watershed. I think it's probably just there's two projects out there, but it would be great that if we did have a project with many vehicles, it's also in watershed, we just use it for that as well. But we probably go out first to make sure that we are.
Any other questions? That's it.
Next organization was, originally was the Field River United Methodist Church, and the application has been amended to be the Henderson County Education Foundation, and Janet Keating was represented.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. I am here on behalf of the Party in the Plush community. Since 2015, Party in the Park has happened right out here at Sparks, the largest events in the park every year. And our committee, the Park Imagination Library is a good intro. What we do is bring together nonprofits from all over the county to serve kids and kind of have a back to school finish. And so lots of different nonprofits come, school system comes and comes out books, dental care, all those things. When the application originally came in, of course, it said Juryman Church, but we're asking for $2,000 to put school supplies in the hands of needy kids. And so the better application is through the Henderson County Education Foundation. That is the mission of the Education Foundation, is to support young people in our public schools. The school supplies, we buy in bulk, partnership with some major businesses, and so we can deal with school supplies for much less than it would cost to go Walmart or to Target and buy those things for around $10 per box. Good start. Supply them to workers. The town already supports Party in the Park, and we release actually on one fee for having Party in the Park.
We appreciate that. I will give Nicole another shout out. We just so much support from the town. This year, Party Park is August 4th, 3 to 5 p.m. Sometimes that's named as 1,000 degrees here on that day. And so our request is $2,000 to go through the Henderson County Education Foundation to be trying to recommend specific ones to members.
So the last organization is the Mills River Farm Market. Linda presents.
Linda Britton, Mills River Farm Market. Husband Joe is with me. He's also one of the directors of the farm market. Just a little background information to get us started before we make a request for those that are maybe not so familiar with the market. But the Mills River Farm Market Incorporated was formed by the town of Mills River in 2009. The Agricultural Advisory Committee was the group that spearheaded that meeting. And we were incorporated as a 501c3. The first location was in the parking lot at Mills River Commons, which was the original town hall. And our current location is in the parking lot of Mills River Elementary School. And the market has been in continuous operation since its incorporation. The Mills River Farm Market serves from 400 to 650 people per market day. Last year, we tried it. You know, that's like trying to herd cats or something. People come from all directions. So we know we had over 10,000 people come through the farmers market last year. We averaged 23 vendors per weekend, but we've had as many as 32. Our capacity is right at 32. We could shoehorn a couple more in, but yeah, would not be that. The market is open the first weekend in May through the month of October from 8 a.m. until 12 noon. And on the third weekend of November, the market collaborates with Mills River Elementary School to call the holiday market for the community. And the proceeds from that event are turned over to the elementary school to use as what is funding this day for needed. The mission of the Mills River Farm Market is to operate a quality market for local producers and crafters to provide fresh produce and other foods, plants, and crafts to families in Mills River and surrounding communities. In order to further this mission, the market supports educational outreach in the community and provides options for healthy living. The market does require the vendors to come from within a 50-mile radius of the town of Mills River. And thereby that is encouraging the extension and preservation of our farming heritage. This May, 2 weeks now, we are beginning our 16th season. And as we continue to grow, our operating expenses continue to increase. Now, our board of directors chooses not to lay this burden at the feet of our vendors by charging them excessive fees. Many of our vendors are very small operators. It acts as a supplemental income for these local producers. And in order to provide these small businesses with a place to sell their products that is within their budget, we choose to keep our fees low. So we are seeking assistance to close the gap in what we have and in what we need. We are asking for $13,200 for the 2024 market season. We need to make some structural improvements to the demonstration kitchen, which was a project that the county Mills River helped us get going. And so it has to be made more sturdy and more secure. We also need to replace the storage cabinets that are in the demonstration kitchen with a more functional piece that will also serve as another work service. Our weekly allotments for the purchase of food and supplies for the kitchen also needs to be increased in order to better serve our shoppers and the market. The kids zone also needs to increase their weekly allotment of funds so that they have enough funds and materials for the children that come through. We worked with approximately 270 children this past market season. So, the amount of money that we had allocated to purchase materials for them, it's not going to be enough. Sure. And the remainder of the funds will be used to cover the operating expenses that are not justified for them to use. We are very thankful for the town council and the support that you've given us in past years. And we look forward to continuing our partnership. Any questions about anything at all?
About how many residents, visit the dinner kitchen?
Okay, the demonstration kitchen per week, I'd say 50 or so. I know we had over 1,000 people at the demonstration kitchen to watch the demonstration. We have the recipe, talk about nutrition, safety, and all that. Because the whole purpose of the demonstration kitchen is to help people know how to eat fresh local food that's in season and how to prepare it from scratch instead of just having to buy something to throw in the microwave. So it's very well attended. We originally thought it might be more the benefit of the SNAP client families that come through the market, but it's turned out that everybody is been absolutely.
Anything else? Thank you. Okay, so Mr. Bowen, how do we, originally, we've always tried to use our ABC tax money. But the fund is formally.
So that, those funds, it's my understanding those funds now have been earmarked, for one purpose. So basically, you're funding this out of your general fund. What you see, just to reiterate, last year, it was a total 16,360. And the total amount that was requested this year is 76,200. That's a difference of roughly $15,000. Whatever you choose to do.
Let's sit and discuss a little bit, for anybody got any idea of brainstorming? We didn't really know what the numbers were going to be exactly that we got on this week, so.
Didn't we have a last round of all the funds last year that never got allocated?
For nonprofits, yes, but we want to do it there on May the 9th, if I'm not mistaken, May the 9th, yeah. We're gonna get through we've been staying on top of that now, to make sure that it gets figured out what we're gonna do with that. You've got all these requests are really needed in our community, no doubt. They've been on all the working process. It's just a matter of how do we fund them and how much do we fund them, so where's everybody at with it?
I'm supportive of trying to identify a dollar. Office can do us, they know the size of the pie, it's 1,000.
Exactly. And that's what we used to do with the ABC money. Then it's kind of really just revolved around that. If it changed yearly, we would let it float in years past. If it was up a little, they could get more. If it was down a little, they'd get less. But
We did get away from that last year. We received about 33,000 in ABC money and we funded 61,364.
and the reason we talked about that a little bit last year, and I just want to revisit that for a second. You would think with all the local beer establishments we have in town, that number would be up. But I think that money gets all sent to North Carolina, then dispersed back out somehow, correct?
Yes, that is correct. And the one thing you have to remember is that more and more pieces of that pie are being added. There's only so much money. And as every little town or county decides to sell alcohol, That all goes to the state and it's divided out. They have a very complicated one.
Okay, so it's not as simple as the per capita or everywhere in the on this. Okay, I understand. Okay. So what's council's thoughts and desires on this situation here?
Where's the reference to assuming? Last track where that's where we are.
We can,
That's fine.
I mean, I kind of like to know where.
so, we'll table this for just a minute and move on to like the bottom. Okay, sounds good to me.
Okay, we have the that work with you. As usual, I'm gonna start on the right and work counterclockwise. The revenues are really strong. Those sales tax did take a significant nosedive in the last month. What we received in April, or February, sales tax is down 33,000 from the prior month. So we've been warned over and over that sales tax would start leveling off. We had our best month ever, and then it took a deep dive. Right now, we're on track to still be at least on budget, if not above budget, but I'm not sure what to expect the rest of the year. What we're planning for the budget going forward is to pretty much not expect any increase. We've been warned increasing each month would level off, and it looks like it's hit us. Okay, so your sales tax revenues, like I said, you're pretty much on track to hit your budget at least, if not exceeded this year. Permits and fees are running ahead of what we would have expected and are more than double your prior year at the same month. Interest on investments remains high right now. As of today, interest rates are where it's invested, it's still over 5%. Though, again, we're constantly warned that that will drop, but so far it's holding. Miscellaneous revenue includes designated contributions, which means it includes your Mills River Day. Usually we're just at a few thousand. And when we completed the quarter, for the quarter, we were up over 12,000. I'm told that we're on track to pretty much spend all of that, but it's going to be an amazing event. All right, expenditures. All of our departments are in good shape, and I don't foresee them coming in over budget, except for fire, which is already over budget, but you do have a budget amendment in your packet to fix that. Again, that means our tax collections are running ahead of what we budgeted for. We didn't know what to expect this year with a revaluation and everybody's bills going up. But as I like to remind you, you have an amazing tax collector and she's done a great job. Okay. You've got the budget amendment. We'll get to just a minute. Fund balance commitments now reflect your 500,000 that you earmarked for your land preservation. And once we receive ABC revenues, that will increase that number for you. So you now know that your assigned fund balance is $800,000, $42 to $634. That's a new number I put down at the bottom. Any questions on this part? I'm not sure I answered Shay's question, but that's how we were doing with it. We're cautiously doing well. I have two other items if you want me to go forward or you want to stop here and have your conversation about nonprofits. And you don't have notes on one of them. Sorry, you don't have it. I'll just real quick, I'll tell
Yeah,
you.
let's just move through it.
Okay,
Might be important to understand about the process.
your, Hickory Shelter, you're all aware that project had some issues and took a long time. You had a capital project, a special project ordinance that was approved. And we finally gotten our last invoice. Right now, there's still $13,000 of that 500,000 sitting in that account. But one of the decisions that Daniel made while he was here. And I honestly don't know his reasoning, but all of the costs of anything past what the construction company charged us, all went into the park budget. I personally believe that all that should be in one place. And we should move that into that capital project ordinance, into that special fund. With that, it'll help fund some of those, but we'll still be a little over 14,000 short. So my plan is to bring that, an amendment to that ordinance to you. Unless somebody tells me not to move those expenses. But I feel like if we ever need to know what it really costs, it should all be in one spot. In the park budget, it's absorbed, but
It looks like,
very tightly.
it looks like maintenance.
Right,
You know, and that.
right. And in 2-3 years, no one will know what that was. So my plan is to hopefully next week or next meeting, bring you an amendment to that. For you to see exactly what the cost would be. I'll have with that full accounting for that fund and a list of all of the invoices that we're talking about. So that you'll have a full accounting. And I'm sorry, my voice is shaking because I'm freezing. All right, the only other thing I had for you was that budget amendment. When we purchased our land, the contract was written up with certain acreages, and it was so much per acreage based on GIS. But when we closed, it was based on the survey, so it was a little more. So we ended up putting in a little extra cash when we had planned on. It was that or go back to the local government commission for an increase in our loan application. It would have delayed everything. So anyway, what we had in our project funds, sorry, capital outlay item was a little short. So, anyway, I'm stealing from your farmland preservation that was budgeted and, covering. I'm sitting here explaining something to you that's not on there.
Right.
Never mind, that was covered. Never mind, that was covered. This has to do with, property tax collections and payments to the fire department. This is how we're going to cover it. I am still stealing from your farmland preservation, line item because I understand that. The way I understand it, you're not going to be making any expenditures before June 30. And we were rebudgeting in the next year. But I'm also taking some from your, there was a line item for website UDO, and the uniform development ordinance has been delayed until the fall. So that's money that we didn't need in this year as well. And the final thing is that we did pay for $80,000 for the fire department to put that, I'm not sure what you call it, I call it a safety light out in front of Station 1 on Highway 280. That was absorbed into the admin budget. But we didn't have $80,000 to do that. It was the logical place to put it. So basically I'm stealing from your farmland preservation account to put it there. But because I'm crossing departments, I do need council's approval.
Everybody understand what she's doing.
Yeah, is that too complicated?
I get it. Does everybody get it? Make sure everybody gets it.
in the current proposed budget for the town manager replenishes these funds back to farmland preservation.
Absolutely.
What you track of that, that's good.
Mhm. This is just money that's in this year that's not being spent. And if we didn't spend it, if we didn't do this with it, it would go back into fund balance and then July 1 come back out.
Everybody good with it? If we do, we probably need a motion to approve this.
Yes, please.
Motion to approve the budget amendment.
Okay, need a second? Just a second. Any more discussion on this? Then none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Very nice. Okay. That's all you have to, okay.
That is all I have.
All right, so we're back to nonprofits. After hearing that. I think we definitely, you're, have got to come up with a dollar. So they know coming in here. If they need 150, and we've only budgeted 50. Somebody said they're gonna get the feelings hurt, or it's gonna get prorated or something.
One thing that just kicked this number out of proportion was the ARPA funds, because that was a one-time deal that came in and made it available to help out the nonprofits and the communities, which is what the money was meant for.
A little. Now, we had our regular ones like this last year. Then we had the one-time capital expenditures that we set that $100,000 ARPA, is that right? $100,000 for the ARPA money aside.
Right.
That we haven't dispersed yet,
Right.
because we just couldn't ever figure out, was kind of the same situation with that.
Well, people that came the way it was explained to it, nobody, had that issue going on.
Right. But we did this same thing last year with what I want to call the ABC money. And somehow we increased it also last year, correct? And then the 100,000 is still set aside for what we're going to discuss on May the 9th, the nonprofit capital expenditures, and what we're going to do with it. We're going to move forward with seeing if they still need the money for those expenditures, or we're going to put it back out and let them reintroduce new ideas to us, or what. That's kind of on May 9th. But maybe somebody with some background can help me remember how we got from our ABC tax money to the 61 last year. I just can't remember how we got there.
I believe what we did is we earmarked a portion of a penny. I'd have to go back and see how much
It sounds like,
of property tax.
like maybe 1/4% or something like that.
That sounds,
This year, with everybody giving a presentation and everything and all this stuff being weird, with the interest the way it is this year, what we made, I wouldn't be opposed to kicking in a little more myself this year to get these here funded. But that's just me speaking. But I think we need to either May the 9th or have a workshop or something at some point in time to get this to a number, probably not this number, but a number that we know we can handle from year to year to year to year to year. And if other councils decide they want to move it around, so be it. But I would just feel more comfortable as the mayor and as my staff's trying to create a budget to go by, if they had a number. It seemed like it'd be easier for everyone.
But you're correct, Mr. Baldwin, you have 63 earmarked as a placeholder in the current budget.
61 to 60. It's what we had, which is what you funded last year. It seems, it's not a little stretch, but it seems like the concept and the idea was to say, hey, we have this ABC revenue, it's coming in. So why don't we just split that and fund the nonprofits with that and really take that money and do something really good. And so that kind of gave you that parameter that you look at the ABC revenue, whatever that number is, that's what we fund nonprofits. And last year you broke that tradition. almost doubled by using general fund money, and so now it's even greater. And since you earmark that revenue, not having the general fund money, I agree with you. Having some sort of constant that, this is all we've got to distribute. And whoever comes in will have to prorate to make tough decisions. Otherwise, you're going to be in a tough situation for everyone. And if there's, the needs will never end and they're all working. Right. But you've got to somehow box yourself in. So you can make that.
And if our tax rate was like Mecklenburg or City of Charlotte or something like that, I'm saying they got a lot of money to throw around, but when you got dealing with 50 million versus 2 or 3 million in tax revenue coming in, kind of how your ones work. So, everybody get it.
Man, that's another question. Sure. Okay, so just to make sure, and this will be for the finance record, but the $100,000, Councilman Drew referring to, was that, the origins was the rescue plan. However, it's been revenue replaced. We're not married to any federal guidelines necessarily.
No, what myself and Mr. Cobb were encouraging is that we kept the guidelines in mind, even after it was revenue replaced. But this, giving to the nonprofits is not against the guidelines. And yes, we still have that 100,000 earmarked, even though it is revenue replaced.
Mayor Johnson, what I'm driving at is maybe, we set a precedent by spending 61,000 bucks in the nonprofits. That any difference, maybe we go to those opportunities, purpose portion of it to make that difference that you were mentioning that you were supporting. So you get us where we need to be. Now going forward, we may have to revert back to $62,000 instead of 5. But nonetheless, I think it's important now that we're in 2024 and we're talking about 2025. It's a physical year that with these ARPA funds and purpose for what they're intended. Sometimes it passes, it's looking at the rescue plan. So I can't think of a better reason to attack that 100,000.
Oh, the difference from the 71 that he's got in the budget. Pull the difference out of that $100,000 ARPA line. That with this, and take care of this.
Yes, that's basically 15 grand. It'd leave 85 grand in the ARPA. But then still discuss it. And it's got that. Is that what you're saying? Yes, right.
This, to revisit the applications that we're in, and go through that again.
I think that's where we got to start.
Right.
I think that's where we need to start with that. But
If it helps your discussion, in addition to that 100,000, former ARPA funds, we also have 98,000. In addition to that, that's not earmarked for anything else that was either former ARPA funds or interest we've earned on. So I was going to bring that to you as well, but just so you know, you do have additional funds that have not been committed anymore.
Just to clarify, just a little bit, that's the 500,000 earmark, the 100,000 earmark, so there's 98. Is in addition to those 2 earmarks that you've got flexibility.
I think with that information, we would be good to go ahead and meet the needs of what we have here, and then at the new budget cycle going in, look at a figure or something that could be related to the ABC funds, which is what was used in the past. To, as Jeff said, set the pie going forward.
So you just add to that. So what we have programmed in preliminary and preferential budget is the 61,360, which is what you had last year. We could be a little more than the president. It's traditionally coming from these.
Well, the hard thing is to listen to all the people that came and presented, and they're all looking at helping the Mills River residents. And we live here, we sit and we know those meetings. And they're out here in the field getting it done. I mean, the river has to be maintained, and they do a great job here at the park. And the Smart Start with the kids. Kids need all everything yet. And kids are having to be smarter to get in school now. You know, to thrive. They do. So, I mean, which one would you tell that to? The farmer's market.
Yes, some people will be.
So,
Right. Right. And the farmer's market does double snap, which the council did fund. That was greatly appreciated. You don't know how many residents I've heard say that was a tremendous benefit for them and helped them eat better. And it put money straight in the local farmers' pockets. You know, so on the hand, they ate better too and kept their bills paid.
So, we on board, the census would fully funded the 7,600 somehow, and we'll start with that. And then we'll figure out where to tell staff and Mr. Bone to pull the other money from that we didn't have budgeted. Can we do that?
Yes.
Yes, we do. Yes, James?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're gonna fund y'all. You know that. Let's go through exactly how we're gonna get it. So you got the 71.
There's not over.
Well, is it, but which, we won't support all that. Is that your suggestion?
Just start on the.
I think we need to spend that's.
Yeah.
What do you get? 2.5 million?
Right.
You get the point from my phone. Don't get the point from the 98 portion, so handle that. So I need a motion to, approve these, and in that same motion, should we tie in where we're pulling the difference that wasn't budgeted from? You may have to fill in the details on what that's called. Yes.
Brady, partnership and parks, is that,
No, they're not. Don't think.
is that earmarked though? There,
Yeah.
They'll be on the budget, so we'll have to make a decision on them all.
okay.
They're not in this policy.
But to answer your question, their requests are fully funded in the budget that's going to be, recommended. to you. I'll make a motion that we approve all the nonprofits that requested tonight. And that the funds come from the interest earned off the ARPA fund money.
Second. All right, we got a first, we got a second. Any more discussion on this? We'll move forward. Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. Congratulations.
Thank you for all.
I appreciate what y'all doing so much.
Yeah, do we put, when we start talking about the 100,000, the leftover ARPA, can we put the 20 something with that and knock it all out at once? Like 98 leftover and 100 sitting for this is 76,200. Can we marry the two figures, make it one figure? I can't do that. That's not.
I can't do that math either right now, but, that was always my intent.
Okay.
I planned to bring you, all of that information so you can hopefully make a decision and read the bill.
Yes, thank you.
Now, I got a question. I probably should ask it sooner than later. But you know, she just sat here and said there's 9 million residents. And then what, five. But now, that money won't actually reach her hands until start when? You got first? So,
You know, she could, and that's only paying that, so she can get her more, so that. She could, because there are 50 people on the list.
I think it is a municipality, we need to reach out to some more of our bigger businesses in town, and I think they need to know about some of these prices. That's right here in town and in the county. I think they really need to know. They can step up to the plate, pretty easy, I feel. I'm sure everybody will contribute some more than others. Next thing you know, you got all that covered. So, hopefully we can spread the word with that too.
Well, in the same token, they're just providing 5 miles away.
Exactly.
And we didn't get numbers as is it just one member in the household or is it two? You know, so that's a lot to think about.
Question about the motion we just approved.
What did we have?
And I think,
Oh, we can change it.
Right, I guess I just need clarification. Well, let me know what you got out of our action is the 75,000. Did we direct you to pull all that from the ARPA interest? Or are we still going to use 61 of general fund and supplement it with the 98,000 interest? That
Wow.
portion.
My understanding is it's a supplement. The 61,360 that we have programmed will be supplemented by the interest from that 98.
Yeah.
Which is the fund your mark portion of our.
Yeah, okay, that's what I was.
Sounds good. Okay, enough that's the dashboard. We'll get for the staff updates. Keep everything in force. When you're ready.
I actually do tonight, because Mayor Goss had me reach out to developmental associates
Yes.
for an update on your manager search. This was as of yesterday. The ad had been viewed 703 times. And they had 19 applications in hand, but, the application period doesn't close till the end of the month, so that's over a week. And they find many applications come in during the last few days of the posting. So you will meet to discuss applications on May 6th with developmental associates. And they're going to send us, send the materials to council around the 2nd, so they have time to see that. So you have time to look through them. What I need to know from you to tell them, is if you want to see paper. We're gonna ask them to send to us, that if we need copies, we can make those. Or if you just want to receive it all electronically, individually straight to you.
Council President, I'm going.
I like paper copies.
We didn't go out. Remember, we had piles and piles. And then we were like, he's the lady eliminating some, and then we cut the small.
Yes.
A lot of waste. So I would be okay with 25.
Just getting
If other people can say for us. I don't think we should.
I'll go with engineering.
So it looks like we're gonna be okay with digital.
Okay.
Send digital with, and we'll,
There are several pages.
absolutely.
Each are-
Roll through them.
Okay, so I will tell them if you all want them digitally, and so they'll go directly to you from that.
You can also print out, I think that was hot.
Yes. She's saying if we've got, some good contenders in the pot, we can print them off ourselves, or we have trouble printing, we can have y'all print them off too.
Absolutely.
Okay. That all you got?
Mhm.
Cold part, Rick.
You haven't heard Mills River Day is coming. I don't know if anyone mentioned that this evening, but so May the 4th being Mills River Day. Folks should definitely stop by the farm market in the morning and then come on over to Mills River Day. Thanks for the year. It's great. We've got a ton of businesses have really come through for us this year to help sponsor, make that event awesome. Other than that, we're just this week started our summer caps 5K program. We finished up our spring program and ready to roll into our summer program. So if anyone's interested in running 5K, please let us know and join our class. Just registrations open for some of our summer programs right now, so just open for tennis and summer camps other than that, we've got a ton of programs this summer, so instead of listing them all out, just please follow our website, social media. We got movies in the park, we've got a snorkeling event, we got our professionals all right around the corner. And then I'd like everybody to also save the date of June 2nd. It's a Sunday afternoon. We're gonna have a pollinator party and do a big unveiling, and our pollinator garden's been there for a while, but it's finally coming back in the bloom, and we've kind of getting that project finished up. We're going to do a big party for that project. That's
Okay, Mr. Miles,
No real updates tonight. I just had one question. We're moving forward with items for the planning board, and obviously one of the things we heard at the council meeting last night was gathering public info. So that's something we're going to discuss with the J7 planning board meeting. And just one quick question I have for y'all is that a meeting you feel you'd like to be included in? So I discussed that with the planning board. People probably have to go for dates and stuff. So I was just curious if council wanted that to be a joint meeting or if the planning board should just ensure we have to get public. But
well, I'd like to be very sure anybody else, something's gonna be more than two of us. We're going, I guess my trust in, we got two or more, we need to, advertise that way, correct?
correct.
So let's advertise just in case.
Okay, sounds great.
Good. All right, Mr. Baldwin.
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So just a few points about the fiscal year 25 budget. I just want to point out that Adam Cobb, former town manager, worked on the budget before he left his post. We met with key staff regarding their needs and their requests. We fully respected the department's budgets. We went through each line item with them one by one. And we entered the amount requested and agreed upon three-way agreement on those line items as we met together. So that's how we developed that budget. I don't recall a staff person contesting the number that was entered in the line items as we went through this process. This time we actually did a 3-year regression analysis instead of based on 2 years. I mean, we looked at 3 years of actual expenditure for each line item, and that helped us project what we should enter into the cost line item as we go through the budget. We usually do 2, but I felt like since I was going to be new coming in, Daniel grabbed that 3rd year and dropped it in there. So we used that as we went through the process. Early on, there was a good feeling that we could keep the budget at the 17% tax rate. And so that's what you see in the budget. So we're not looking at a tax increase. We're looking at holding the line at the 17 cents. As Ms. Powell mentioned earlier, sales tax is projected to be flat. So that's what we did when we entered on the revenue side. So you can see basically those two large revenue streams, the sales tax is flat, and then the ad valorem piece is really coming from your 17-cent rate that you used last year. And you heard the fire department say they're keeping theirs the same. So that's part of that 17. So we're going to present the manager's recommended fiscal year 25 budget to you May the 9th. That will be a general overview. We will give you the details for you to study after that presentation. And so you'll have that before that workshop where we will meet and we can go through some of the details. So here's my disclaimer as your interim town manager. So it will be an imperfect budget. I promise you, all budgets are. And as you go through your fiscal year in 25, you'll need to make adjustments because you're not in a static environment. It's constantly changing. So there'll be amendments that you'll need to pass. What I recommend is midway through your fiscal year 25 is you just stop and have a checkpoint. What you guys are doing quarterly with your finance director is you get a snapshot and you get a very clear picture as to where you are. So just mid-year fiscal year 25 on that second quarterly report, which will be from January, just stop and take a look at that budget I can tell you that if I had been here longer, probably would have given the budget more attention and time. I went to 3 days a week. But we were lucky that Daniel was able to spend time with us and put energy into the budget. So I think you've got a good budget that will get you through based on your review, and we will approve it. So I just wanted to set those expectations as we go through this. Again, so it'll be a reliable budget and finance director has scrubbed it. So it's passed the SUE test. So there's just a few minor things that, Ms. Powell saw that we needed this week. And so that would be in the recommended budget. So we're getting ready to go. So I'll do a good job reading. That's all I have.
All right, any council comments?
I've got a couple of things.
Go ahead.
The DOT is doing a survey. So I encourage the residents to fill that survey out. Henderson County's been sharing it on their Facebook. I've shared it. I don't know if the town has shared it or not, but they're wanting to get a lot of input on how residents would like to see the funds spent for the next projects coming up. And being a Mills River resident, you can also do Buncombe County and Transylvania County because we have big roads that intersect. And so I would like to encourage everybody to tell people about it and get all the input they can so that the DOT has a good base on which direction people would like to see it go on. And I've been thinking about the discussion we had at the last meeting where the planning board members came and spoke about rezoning up 280 and looking at the quarter they were doing. And I got thinking, did they take into consideration if they do a greenway bike path up through there? Where they've got I think they were talking about a 500-foot. Is that from the center of the shoulder?
Center.
Okay, well then if they go through there and put a greenway path, that's gonna put a grass median and then the path and then a shoulder of a ditch. You know, how far is that gonna eat into it? So just throw that out there for people to think about.
Okay.
That's all I have.
Yes, sir.
Ben? Sure. So at this point, I think someone people to send closed session, we'll ask the audience and some of the staff to remove themselves and we will move on with our talks in here.
I'll make a motion to adjourn this session.
All right, y'all need to get a second. Second. Do a second. All right, any scheduled for the room? All in favor? All right. Any opposed?
Just a thought.